Hi, and welcome to another episode of Wine and Wisdom. I'm Thomas Le Hoang, and you're listening to the TL podcast, where knowledge is shared and no one takes themselves too seriously. Hi, boys. How you going?
Good afternoon.
Hey, Chief.
Our lady has
Decided to shout us lunch.
She's double booked herself. So Megan is so apologetic, but she couldn't cancel the meeting that she had, where she's rewarding 3 of her employees into a massage because they've done great last month. So she had to decide whether to punish them or really let us down, and she's decided to let us down.
Chosen to let us down. I think we need massages.
I think so too. Or lunch. Lunch will do. I'm happy with lunch.
You've had enough lunches. We need
Sorry,
massages.
Slim. I'm talking. Hot kettle.
Yeah, I know, mate. I understand. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you, mate. I'm trying to shame you.
They'll take that fuel and use it as
The old mate we're talking about today used the shame. So
use it as your fuel.
Oh, well, that's it. She'll owe us a lunch. That's right.
It's all good.
Okay, so what's on today? What's on today? First of all, let's start with the wine. What's going on? That
right,
was your shout.
My shout.
yeah,
So,
we don't.
we're gonna.
No,
start.
we don't do the good one first. How
we
many
don't.
times have you done this?
I thought we did it first.
No.
Lately, yes, because as we get, it's actually
Right, yeah.
great to have the best
Fair
one
enough.
first. We did that with yours last
No,
time.
we didn't. We do the book first. Well, I don't care how we do it.
All right,
but we're going to have
anyway.
a Pinot Noir after we have his, so good luck.
Oh no! Well, no,
We can't do
that's
that,
true.
mate.
No.
We can't
Okay,
do
let's
that.
start with the Pinot Noir.
Not that
Cameron made sense for a change.
Let's start with the
What
Pinot
did you
Noir.
bring?
Hey,
What did you bring?
you'll see.
Clean skins
$6.
Yes, you'll see.
for the case.
Well, at least it's not from a garage.
Oh!
If you're gonna start, man, we can continue.
That's a Cam joke, man. So what are you doing?
It's all right.
Don't start.
All right, so I went a new one, something a bit different today. I don't know if we've had a Pinot Noir on here before. We may have
A few times.
a few times. There you go. We probably had it last, so I don't know. But this is it's a new variety. So the sign at BWS said. So it's a Central Otago Pinot Noir from New Zealand, 2018. It's called the Black Grape Society, the Master. So we will see.
Kiwis do a good Pinot too.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't buy one Tasmania or New Zealand usually. You wouldn't get one
No, not
from any other places.
No.
That's good. It should be good. I've had a few good Kiwi.
Although remember that in the Hunter Valley we had a good Pinot Noir.
Yeah. You can, but generally speaking, if you're going to pick a region for the average punter on a bottle shop,
Or was that grape brought in and made there, or was it grape grown there?
No, I think they mostly brought in, no?
Yeah. I think that is. It's very light. You can see it's
think,
going to be very light.
Yeah, you can see from the color.
Thomas Allen has some Pinot grapes, I think, in the Hunter. Yeah, for most people, if you're looking on the shelves in the bottle shop, New Zealand or Tasmania, you can't really go too far wrong.
It's very light, isn't it?
Unlike the people sitting at this table. There we go, we're back.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.
You would have been proud. I was at Wisebury, Cham Heaven for a international lunch
Oh, I like that.
barbecue. I didn't have a glass at all.
Wow.
Yeah. Not even water. I just drove back here straight away to be with my mates.
Representing the One Nation.
Mm.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That is a good drop, man.
I rate that.
Yeah, very nice drop.
very good. Well done. Well
It's
done.
too cold. I didn't know how long I was going to be in the car for, so I couldn't bring a white.
Well
But I
done.
didn't feel like something heavy, so we got.
Oh, that is so nice.
Pinot's the one that you can drink a little bit colder too, a little bit chilled.
I need a picture of that
It
one.
is a nice Pinot.
Winner
Very
first
easy
up.
drinking.
Winner chicken dinner.
Feel like some pasta with some nice red sauce and a little bit chili now. Nice Pinot, that one.
All right, so this
Well
week,
done, mate.
this week, let's
This
do
month.
it.
All right, so we're doing the Stoic first, right?
We're doing July.
Yeah.
All right, wow. July. Go for it, Cam. So you got the first 10 pages, mate.
My notes ran out. So this month was on duty, yeah?
It was Judy, yeah.
All I wrote for day one was Thomas. That was the word because he's been banging on about it for
Many years.
quite a while now. Oh, but more so recently, just your only duty is to be a good person. You've been harping on that a lot lately, so I only wrote one word.
I didn't have much for day one. A few days went past before I start to get the feel of it. But yeah, a lot of it's stuff that we do on a regular basis. And it was whatever your job is, whether it's to be a parent or a leader or whatever it is, just do it. Just get up and do it. And there's quite a few things further in the book that they really start to elaborate, and it all really starts to gel.
I thought the early part of the month was a bit repetitive. I mentioned that to Thomas earlier. He said, no, there's subtle differences in each thing. But yeah, there is.
No, I actually didn't say that. I said intelligent is where subtlety begins. He says, so I'm sorry. Mate, if you're going to quote me, you're going to have to quote me properly, man.
You said.
I said.
You
said
the first 10 days are the same. You said, no, that's not true. There's subtle differences. Did you not say that? And then you carried on about bagging my intelligence, and that doesn't make me feel good, and you should buy me lunch.
No, because you've got a lot of that to learn. As a matter of fact, for me, the first few is very simple. You have to understand the Stoics. The Stoics are these kind of people who are all about the pursuit of their moral values at any cost. And they don't care about fame. They don't care about pleasures. They don't care about luxuries. The only thing that they care about is if they let themselves down in their moral values. And that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So hence the first page, he says, be good, live a good life. And that's a little bit of that Socratic philosophy, right? But if you really study the Socratic philosophy, you know it actually cuts into three. One is Epicureanism. The other one is skepticism. And then Stoic is a third branch. So the Epicurists believe that life is all about pleasure. As long as there's no bad consequences, you should have pleasure, and the pursuit of pleasure is the only thing that matters. Skepticism is really about the fact that, don't you believe anything. In life, just whatever you think is it, right? Yeah. And there's a good saying that I learned last few days. It goes like this. It says, that which I don't know is the only certain thing, right? And that's an amazing thing. And so most of our perception, it's true. I mean, it's right for me, but it's only a perception of reality that I see. And then the third brain is Stoics. And the Stoics, I think the month of July, there has to be a reason he put it in the middle like this, because it's huge. How many of us just do our duty? You have a look. The biggest Stoic, who was Marcus Aurelius, I mean, he wrote journals to be kept for himself. He didn't write books or journals for anybody else. And he, in his journal, in the way he is, he said, I don't care about what happens to me. I don't even care about losing my life. Doing my duty is the only thing that matters. Yeah. And now we are in those pages. This is why I thought this month was out of this world.
Yeah, I thought, I don't want to go through every page like we normally do, but page 2 sort of sets the scene for that, in that I've written do the crime, do the time, and it talks about doing your duty under any circumstances. So it doesn't matter whether you're feeling under the weather, it doesn't matter whether you're tired, it doesn't matter whether you're feeling great. There is no excuse for not fulfilling your duty to be a good person. And I think it can be taken a bit further into everything we do. And the line do the crime, do the time for me is I use it a lot when in our workplace and growing up. If you're going to go out and party at night, you still turn up to work the next day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And go to work because you've got a duty to do. People go, how do you do it? How do you back up? I go, well, you do the crime, you got to do the time. You don't get to party one night, drink too heavily, carry on, and then not turn up for work the next day. It's just not an option. And you can't use the weather, it's a bit cold outside, for not doing your duty. And you can't use the fact that you're a little bit tired or a little bit agitated to not be a good person and do your duty. And I think it's very easy to do the right thing or to be a good person when things are sweet, and you get tested when things aren't. And that's how I took that page, I think.
I think it's also the repetitive actions that we do, the small things that build up a big picture for other people. So, for example, with our kids, if they see us sitting on the couch every night watching TV straight after dinner, that's what we're going to breed within our children. If we want to see a change in them, we need to be the change, whether it's studying a book or doing whatever. I think our duty is to be able to show our kids there's more to that after dinner or when you get home from work. Sit down and have a conversation with each other and so forth. So I think goes a lot of aspects in that one page, absolutely.
How good is this wine? Can I just say?
It is very nice.
How nice is
very
it?
nice. I just hope mine beats yours or up for. I really liked July 4th is the next one I've got. The 4th is
Independence Day.
and it says protect your flame, protect your inner fire, and do the things that help you keep that fire alive. I mean, and it's not only being a good person, but doing good deeds, whether it's, doing something for charity without recognition, without an ulterior motive or an agenda. Just do those little things that will make a difference for someone else, but you don't need the recognition for it. I think that helps you feel your own flame.
Saying that the good in us is a little flame inside us, and we've got to do everything we can to stop that being blown out, because there's lots of things in the world that try and extinguish that flame, and it's talking about making sure that however small it is, we've all got it in us somewhere.
Yep. We've got to protect
we've got to make sure at all costs that doesn't get blown out.
Which really this month we just started with at Wisebury with these 7 speakers for Empower. I think that's our way of giving it back to our society, and I think that is the little things you need to be doing. People think that you have to do big stuff, you have to create amazing things, you have to just give a lot of money. It's not. Sometimes the amount of time that you sacrifice to set up something like this can help way more people than just giving them money, because you're still feeding them for the day. And I think that this is the bit. If I had to ask people, so we don't have to go through page to page, because I agree with Cam that there's a lot of, not repetition, but it's always about doing your duty, but now making sure that you learn from that and all that stuff. So there's a few things coming from the other pages too. So I'm sure you're going to have other lessons you want to learn, but we don't have to go day by day. But I want to really say this. If our duty is to be a good person, if our duty is to lead a good life or do our duty, really, if I ask now all of us to really think about this, in the last 7 days, how much of those last 7 days have we done that? That every single time that we woke up or went to work, and he even said in there, what is it, rise and shine, that even though in the days when you don't feel like waking up, get up and go and do it. How many of us really in the last 7 days have gone out there through everything that we undertook? It was for a matter of making things better for somebody else, making things better for our fellow human beings.
Is it a case, though, where it has to be an external thing? Because I see that doing a duty to be good is just in every decision you make, choosing the right one, which is for the good. So I know in the last 7 days I haven't gone outside my little world to make a difference, but I make sure, and I'm getting much better at, whenever there's a decision to be made or something to be said, that it's being done for the good or the right reason. So,
and I don't think it is stoic. A stoic, and you asked me last time about Jim Carrey, whether I thought he was a stoic, and I said no. A stoic is someone who would pursue the best of himself, the best within his moral values, at the expense of everything else in his life, even his own life. This is a stoic.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily...
The stoic is someone who actually goes for a search for a union with nature and complete himself or herself as a person.
That doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out every day and find a charity to donate to.
No. It doesn't have to be a charity.
You're saying who in the last 7 days.
But have you helped someone? Have you helped one of your recruits get better? Have you helped a salesperson get better? Have you helped a seller get better?
Yes, but that's every day.
But I think those small actions that we do every day will eventually have that effect. If we're trying to be good people, just generally in life, through our working as a sales manager or an owner of a business or a CEO, our small actions day to day will create those small ripple effects throughout the people that we come in contact with. Yeah. I don't think it has to be a grand gesture. I don't think we need to have...
It never said that. A story never goes for grandeur.
No, what I'm saying is that daily small actions, I think sometimes it's inherent. It doesn't have to be a thoughtful act. It's an inherent act. If you're inherently an asshole, then obviously you're not a stoic. But if you're getting to work every day and helping the guys in the team train and improve themselves and giving them tips or picking them up there and down, you're being a stoic. You're helping someone to get better. But you're not doing it because you want to be a stoic. You're doing it because you want to be a good person.
Yeah. I personally don't see too many Stoics in our Western society. There aren't too many.
I think we're very. We're
To the absolute.
I think Dalai
bloody
Lama,
hard work.
Dalai Lama is probably one of the Stoics for me.
We're focused on what we can get, our material gatherings, not our actual being.
Not our moral values.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's society in general that we live in.
Including me, but
he's
man.
got the holiday and so forth. He's got the big house on the water. But at the end of the day, that's the society we live in. We need to pause, I think, and that's the thing with Stoicism. I think we need to realise that we ideally want to be there, but we sometimes get sidetracked because of that.
Yeah.
I think the duty falls into every single thing we do, or every conversation we have, or every decision we make. There's a right way and a wrong way of doing it, and there's a right reason and there's a wrong reason for doing it the way we do it. And I think this whole month, it's in those moments, in every moment. If you're of good intention of the heart, and if you're in good intention of the brain, and you're saying things or doing things for the right reason, then you are fulfilling your Stoic duty to be a good person. And it might seem oversimplified, or it might seem too hard for a lot of people, but it is too hard for a lot of people.
I think we read, if you read this book day by day and take it, like there's one page in here that I read and I'm going, how funny is that?
Which one was that?
Which was the one about just get out of bed.
Oh yeah, Rise and Shine.
Rise and shine. Just get out of bed. And it's funny to hear an emperor thousands of years ago had that issue about getting out of bed, getting out of his warm bed and doing his duty. The same thing. The alarm goes off in the morning, especially in wintertime. You know, it's fucking comfortable in here. Mm-mm. And the guy we're going to speak about next is a similar thing. It says, who would you rather fight? The pillow or the exercise or the meditation of a morning or your morning ritual? Which would you rather have a fight with? I'd rather have a fight with my morning ritual. Okay, we get your ass out of bed and have the fight with that morning ritual.
But he says in that the reason we don't want to get out of bed is because we don't like our job or whatever, but they're saying that your only job is to be a good human.
Your duty is to get out of bed.
Your only job is to be a good human. So if you can't get out of bed to be a good human, what could you get out of bed for?
Funnily enough, Rise and Shine was July 6th. So even a Roman emperor had trouble of getting out of bed. I thought that was quite cool. I thought that was quite funny. I liked July 7th as well. It said it's our duty to learn. And we're reading into it. He goes into not just learning dates and figures and who did what, when and where, but truly understanding the meaning and the emotional reason people did something and finding, that the feeling within their journey. What can you get out of that and how's that going to help your life? Truly digesting what you're reading and understanding.
Yeah, what he's saying is remembering the name and the exact date of something happening. That doesn't do anything.
Page
3. Remembering the lesson of it. And living that lesson is the amazing thing, I would even go further. Having the books don't matter. Having books and libraries of books and pretending that they highlighted does not matter. Living some of the quotes that you highlighted, that's the important bit. The key is to progress as a soul. For me, July 16 was very, very good. I think that we have no right in trying to tell people whether they are right or wrong. What's very important is that everyone understands that they're on their journey and through their duties. What is very important is that their soul will progress. And if they understood that, and that is probably going to be the biggest reward way beyond riches and fame, the progress of the soul matters most.
I don't think a lot of people have I won't say intelligence, but the understanding of that at the moment. If you said you can go this path to fame and riches or this path to happiness and fulfillment, I think a lot of people in our society, unfortunately, would take the first.
Yes, because they are probably more of the Epicurus side, right, which is the pursuit of pleasures. And there's nothing wrong. Hence, some people said to me, I see you as a Stoic. And I said to people, I'm not a Stoic because I love my pleasure. I love my wine. I love sometimes to even drink a little bit too much. So where the Stoics would go...
He did just stop me filling up his glass.
That's true.
He's Stoic.
Would go without that. Well, no, for the moment, there's a lot on plate.
Who was it that fell down drunk? There was one of them in the book of Stoics that Crystal got you. One of them fell down drunk and died, fell down some stairs pissed and died. He was one of the leaders of the Stoic Church. It was a religion for me, brother.
No, so to answer your question, there are people who are pursuing that, and there's no problem. And this is why you have the three branches, right? You have the people,
Fair enough.
I just want pleasure. You have the people who say, I don't want a pleasure, I just want to do my duty. And then you have the ones that say, no, I don't believe in any of those stuff.
Okay,
right?
is those people, is it realistic for people to say, I just want pleasure without doing the labour to achieve that?
It is possible.
Depends what your pleasure is, mate. Pleasure's a...
Okay, that's fair enough.
Depends what your pleasure is. $50 down a back alley in King's Cross will get you pleasure.
Yeah.
So it depends on... there's $80 million Powerball tonight. And they said... It was the radio this morning, said get your tickets early because last time the Powerball was this big, which was June last year, they sold 1,000 tickets a minute after 4 o'clock when people were knocking off work. Mm-hmm. And that's people just trying to get the pleasure without doing any of the pain.
Fair enough.
But there's millions of sayings and we bang out about it all the time. Nothing worth having is easy and all that sort of stuff.
One thing
it is possible, but it is rare.
That was page 16. I'd like to go back just for a minute, like one date to July 15. Mm-hmm. Doing the right thing is enough. And it goes hand in hand with what we were just saying about people doing things for a wrong reason. If you're going to help a recruit or help a neighbour or give to a charity, you shouldn't have to go and spruik it all over social media or expect something in return.
Yeah.
Do it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Don't let, the want of praise to build your ego or have an ulterior motive be the fuel to do the right thing. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Full stop. And I thought that page for me was a very important page to bring up. Cam, have you got anything else?
Tying in with what
No,
Thomas
mate,
said
we lost Cam at
we didn't
page
lose, mate.
6,
That
mate.
blue cheese is beautiful. The 19th.
Yeah, I
got the 19th?
Yeah, I've got the 19th.
Yeah, see, I stuffed you there, didn't I?
I got the 19th.
The 19th. But with Thomas talking about it's okay for people, you don't have to tell everyone they're wrong all the time. And the title of the 19th is Forgive Them Because They Don't Know. It's okay. And it's something I struggle with. And it's something, actually listening to your boy Goggins on the way down here on a podcast, he talks about how it stuffed him for a while, is putting his expectations on other people and putting our standards on other people. And it's okay if people, there's an ego trip. I was about to say it's okay if people don't know as much as us. That's a bit of an ego trip.
But maybe he's right too, because listen, I don't have to have an expectation put on you if you are not playing in my game. But let's imagine you're now a team player in my game. We are in the team to do the common thing. Yeah? Then every one of us has to.
Yeah.
And then you have to expect I give my best, just as much as I expect you. So expectation must be done when people say, I'm part of a group to do certain things. Just as much as, for example, to do the Empower. In January, when I spoke about it, it was like, I think that Thomas is dreaming, or Thomas had too many already. Now, I got the 7.
Yeah.
And out of 7, Rod was the only one who put up his hand and did some help. Nobody else made a move. And yet I know I'm surrounded by people who say, I care. And I'm thinking, care is an act, not a feeling. You do care. You don't feel care, right? But on the other hand, I forgive them too, because they got no idea, and maybe the pursuit of selfish pleasure is the only thing that matters to them. I think that it is still my job to expect from the people who are in leadership position to go, no, maybe this guy is trying to tell us, let's forget about ourselves for a minute. Yep. Let's go out there. We all know someone who can make a difference. What are we doing? Saying that, oh man, I tried, or no. When you say I tried, I know already you haven't. Because the people who tried, they never use those words. I think that, this is where I love this July thing, is that do the right thing, do your duty, go as a leader. I think in July 13, he talks about a leader leads. You are the leader of your own life. And you have to go from the front, not wait for someone to just tell you, oh, now it's time to do this.
Yep.
And we have to seek justice. I don't know, somewhere in July again.
Next page.
There is we have to pursue justice in our action. Action is not something just to do things because we have to move, right? No. Actions has to have justice in it. And it's very hard, man, to have justice, because justice means sometimes there are things in life I hate doing, but I have to do it. When I have to fire someone, I hate doing that kind of stuff. But for the organization, it is a must. And as a leader, it must be done.
Yeah.
Whether it costs or not, that is incidental. And I think that is about doing your duty.
I think, jumping ahead, but the 26 talks, the title's When Good Men Do Nothing. And I think that's sort of what you're touching on there a bit too, mate. By doing nothing, you actually are doing something, but it's to the detriment, not to the good. Often injustice lies in what you aren't doing, not only in what you are doing. History abounds with evidence that humanity is capable of doing evil, not just actively, but passively. So in some of our most shameful moments, from slavery to the Holocaust to segregation to the murder of Kitty Genovese, whoever that is, guilt was limited to the perpetrators, but to the ordinary citizens who, for a multitude of reasons, declined to get involved. It's that old line, all evil needs to prevail is for good men to do nothing. It's not enough to just not do evil. You must be also a force for good in the world. So you can sit back and say you're a good person, but if you're actually not doing anything there...
Step forward, get involved, whatever it may be.
The graphic example is going to get us cancelled, but 9 people took videos of George Floyd getting killed. No one jumped in to stop him dying.
Kitty Genovese, the story behind her was she got, I think it was stabbed she got murdered on a New York City street. And when the police went and did their rounds, 38 people actually reported hearing the commotion, but no one rang. Yeah. So that's what the whole story behind that was. There was 38 people who could have reached out and helped, whether it was call the police or stepped in, but no one did. And that's the story behind that. That was one of the first big things of those sort of the olden day George Floyd, so to speak.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. It's always a funny thing that all these crimes and stuff, and all this stuff that gets caught on video now. And I always think every time someone's caught on video doing something, what's the person with the video camera doing?
It was, yeah.
And again, mate, there's the last ever episode of Seinfeld, they all went to jail because they videoed a bloke getting mugged for his shoes.
It wasn't that after a lady dies death or something or other, because the reporters weren't helping her. They were, I don't know. Anyway, getting off track. But anyway, so that was 26. We've flown through this month. Stoic joy. It's easy to be happy in a good time, and we've spoken about this in the past, but find happiness every day, whether it's good or bad. Be happy. It's a choice. Whether you're struggling, find the joy in it, or whether you're succeeding, find the joy in it.
The issue is that when people wait to be happy first before they take action. That's the issue. It's almost that credit card style of living.
Expecting results to be happy,
and then I'll pay it after.
Expecting results to bring happiness, instead of realising that the happier you are, the more results you'll get.
So how do you recap this month, though? What's the full recap for you?
Oh, it's page 1. We've all got a job to do it, and it's also understanding that predominantly, regardless of what your actual job is, our real job deep down is just to be a decent human being.
Yeah, spot on.
And we've all got a responsibility to that every day. So when you're saying, be happy regardless, it's understanding exactly where you're at, understanding that you're alive, and we all have a responsibility to each other and to ourselves just to be decent humans, regardless of circumstance. I'm sure there's in homeless shelters around the world, there's decent people doing decent things, and there's billionaires around the world spend their life doing the wrong thing by people. So it's not a matter of status. It's not a matter of where you're at in life, because at every stage you've got a choice: be a good human or not.
That's it.
How about you, man?
That's it. So be a good person. Do what you need to do. Get up every morning and do what you need to do. Simple. Be a good person when you're doing it.
How about you, man?
For me, just be a good human. But also stop blaming people, because you can take action, right? Your duty is that pursuit.
That was day 8, and all I'd written was "duh" because we've covered it so many fucking times.
Yeah.
But stop blaming other people. Yeah. Stop blaming other people. But
I personally love that last page. That last page is just crazy. Yeah?
I've got a little note there for myself.
Okay, so what did you put down? I mean, what's the title for it?
It says your career is not a life sentence. So for me, it hits home. Sorry, there was a bit of salami going down there. I watched my parents work their ass off when I grew up. Absolutely grind. And listening to about your mum last time we were on, same sort of scenario. To a stage where my parents built a little fortune for themselves. You know, they were well off. They weren't extremely wealthy, but they were well off, but never could enjoy it. Mum had a stroke at 57 years of age, and then Dad spent the rest of his life looking after Mum. And up until that time, their enjoyment of life, while it was simple, it was good, they enjoyed life and they were happy people, but they put everything off until after retirement. So like traveling and all that sort of, they delayed everything they wanted to do because they thought, buy a house, buy another house, pay those off, you know, build a little fortune for ourselves, and when we retire, then we can enjoy our money and travel. Yeah. Well, they never got to do that. So I said to Rita when we first met, I said, we're going to enjoy life as we go. We're going to enjoy the journey, not wait for a destination. So for me, that last bit, your career is not a life sentence. Work is not everything, but also you need to work to get what you want. So for me, that was very important.
I struggle with that. That's why I said that, because a lot of my work is about worried. I was talking to a leader a few days ago, and I said, my life has been revolving around two things, my kids and my leaders. And it wasn't even my wife. And so when I spoke to the leader, I said, and I made the decision that that's it. I put my priorities on the wrong stuff. And so it's almost when you are driven, and I said already, I'm not a Stoic, but when you're driven to pursue just moral values, I feel that life sometimes is slavery. That death sometimes is liberation. Because death would mean that you are now free to have zero obligation on you, obligation to pursue moral values, obligation to do the right thing, to seek justice wherever you are. And I struggle with that more. That's why I said that was just crazy bit, because what you struggle with is usually what you need.
What brought about that change, or the realisation?
I think that
realisation.
I mean, over the past few months, I've been struggling with some of these business owners that I've been helping. I call them leaders, and then they do the wrong thing, and or they lie to my face, and they do things behind our back. And I think that these are the things that are wrong. If you have to have the audacity and the courage to do it right, and to do the right thing.
That's something that's been going on since Adam was a boy. So
I get that.
Why has it affected
but
you more now?
Not in the world where I try to groom. I'm trying to groom a world where we're making a difference. That we can forget ourselves a little bit in order to pursue something way bigger than ourselves. And so I think it's now the continuation of those kind of hit on the head that really got me to think maybe I'm pursuing something that is not possible for me to change. And so therefore, what am I pursuing? And then I look around and I see, my wife's health is not always the best, has up and down. And when there are some of these things, it's down there. And so that's when I was forced to sit down and go, hold on, what did I do in that? And reading this stuff again, so I don't know whether it was a combination of all that stuff. Reading that stuff, it's like, well, what was my duty? Where am I living that life on a day-to-day basis? Where am I getting that rise and shine for the right reason, doing the right thing for the right reason? Where am I seeking that justice? That I'm seeking justice to help some of our leaders earn millions of dollars. And then in the end, they sit down and look for some stupid shit in some of the programs to justify why I have to do more. And I think guys, I'm just talking to you about something like this. That's probably only the three of us going to listen to. And this is why I say it hit me. And at some stage, it comes to realization, you got the wrong thing, man. Maybe that was the wrong thing. Maybe she should have been first, children second, and then your leaders could be way after. And then maybe in there too, you're going to have to know when to cut.
So where's the balance though? Because I've thought for a long time you've put way too much effort into the wrong people for a long time, and I've told you that. But the flip side of that is that you don't work to help anybody, or you don't try and further anyone but yourself. And I've always wondered in myself, where is the balance in that? Because you want to help people, you want to do your duty, and you want to do right by people, but you can only headbutt a wall so many times before you get knocked out. I used to be a person who was completely in it for himself because I didn't trust anybody, and I know there's too many shitbags. I know a large portion of the population are shitbags, so I don't want to help them because I see the mud, I see the headbutting, and I go, I'm not going to run at that same wall. Yeah. But then you go, look, people do need a hand as well, and I don't know. I mean, you've seen enough of the world, so it's not naivety that leads you to running into that wall 100 times. But
no, I'm starting to believe that I didn't see too much of that world. I saw what I wanted to see, and I think that these are the things, and hence I think it was a very good line to have in there. Forgive them, for they don't know. Yeah. Yes, and so all of that stuff are all intertwined, you know. But at some stage too, it's okay to forgive, but do something about it. Don't headbutt the same wall.
And this is forgive doesn't mean you have to forget or run at the same wall again. Forgive means you make peace in yourself. And we've covered in the last 12 months, we've gone through.
So when you say forgive, are you forgiving them and within yourself? Because this is something that I have an issue with, is holding on to not a hatred, more of a disdain for that person that may have wronged you in the past. And while I won't make that mistake again, that person to me, I look down towards and hold some angst against. How do you move past
the way it gets put is you're drinking the poison and expecting someone else to die, right?
That's exactly what I've put in my notes, Cam. So exactly what I've put in my notes. Now, how do you get past that? That's the question. Because I've actually...
You don't have to forgive them.
Holding on to hatred is like helping someone else.
They don't even have to know you've forgiven them, mate. You're not forgiving them for them. And that's something that the big fella helped me understand in the last 18 months when we've been going through some stuff. You don't have to forgive them for them. You have to forgive them for you. And they don't...
You have to release the load. Because while you're thinking about it now and having that emotion, it's actually stirring crap inside you.
So on that, though, you've moved past it, but you're like... Even seeing that person say, look, you know what? I know what that person's like, and there's a feeling in something, just a disdain in your mouth. In yourself, you're like, I'm past that. I've moved on. That won't happen again, and I've grown. But there's still...
You don't have to hang around that person.
Oh, I don't.
But that's what I mean. You don't put yourself in that situation. I don't think you can ever change. I don't know.
The feeling that I suppose the thing I'm asking is that feeling that is invoked that was created when issues arise with that person. And it might be like it may be with an ex-business partner or an ex-wife or an ex-husband or something, those emotional scars that you may have received from that. Can you move beyond that, or is that just...
No, I think you can move beyond that, but not from this month of July.
Okay.
Right? I think forgiveness is a huge chapter. And forgiveness, there's many ways of looking at that, but you have to first start with probably feeling vulnerable, also starting to really embrace more philosophy that one day that person who's wronged you will be gone. Therefore, they won't be here anymore for you to worry about, which is something that the Stoic teach. Plus, one day you're going to go too, so you'll be gone too. Therefore, the angst that you had, didn't matter because you're no longer here to feel that again. Therefore, the Stoic says, why do you feel something that doesn't matter?
Yep, that makes sense.
But on the other hand, it's easy to do that because the Stoic is all about logic, right? The problem with the anger or when you feel angst against someone, that is emotional. And so emotional baggage or the emotional drive doesn't go through logic. We know it goes through the limbic brain, it goes through the amygdala, it goes through everything else but the neural circuits.
Yeah.
And so you have to deal with that very differently. So some people have got a blame, not culture, but their makeup is to blame others. Therefore, to make sense of their life, they have to blame others. So they will never let go. It is not possible for that person to let go. So you also have to work at that level. Now, whether it is biologically inbuilt in the person to be that way, or because of the way that they loop through their thoughts, therefore creating those kind of emotions. And as you know, if you get into a routine, you can also have triggers. This is why sometimes I only have to show you sometimes. Have you ever been in a room where as soon as you smell that room, you remember a part of your youth? I mean, that's olfactory triggers.
Music,
yeah.
Music is the best for it.
Things like, yes, music gets you back straight away, exactly on the dance floor at that age, and blah, 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 you know? So, and it is possible too that sometimes what you're after is an action. So let's imagine you hate people who are being selfish, and that person's done that. Every single time that you look at it again, you'll go back there, or you'll seek in other. So we have way more ways to deal with that aspect of forgiveness. But I don't think that it is something reasonable to say, well, if you use logic, you can, because it's not working like that for everyone. Just as much as for some people, logic is the only thing that will unravel that. You go through the emotion, it won't work.
Good month.
Or punch him in the throat.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks,
that was a very good one, and I thought it was a very, very good chapter.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Megan wasn't around.
Well done, boys.
Thanks for lunch, Megan.
Thank you. Lunch.